Today, we're diving into something so many people want. A school that really connects the world. Speaking English fluently.
Absolutely. It comes up everywhere.
Yeah, for careers, study, travel, just connecting online. English seems key. And that question we hear all the time is, how can I speak English fluently, confidently, without being so afraid?
That fear is a big one.
Well, we've got some really practical stuff for this deep dive. It's from excerpts of Achieving English Fluency, a step-by-step guide. And the first thing it says, which is great, is you don't need to be perfect.
Exactly. That's such a relief for people, isn't it?
Totally. Just need a smart plan, keep it consistent, even if you're just starting out.
Right. And our mission today is really to pull out the best bits, the most actionable tips from this guide. Think of it as a shortcut to getting really well informed on what actually works.
Okay.
The guide promises clear, simple steps, things to get over those common roadblocks.
And some of it sounds a bit counterintuitive, like talking to yourself, or focusing more on speaking than grammar.
Yeah.
That really jumped out at me. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So the guide kicks off with what it calls the biggest mistake learners make. And it's something I think almost everyone does.
Oh, I know this one, the constant translating in your head.
Exactly. Translating from your native language into English. The guide says, nope, you've got to switch gears. Start thinking in English.
Yeah, and it explains why that translation habit is, well, just not helpful. It basically creates this mental traffic jam. Your brain's doing double work.
Processing, translating, then speaking slows you right down.
Totally. Slows you down, creates confusion. So the alternative is try to think in simple English directly.
How did that work in practice, though?
Well, the guide gives some really simple examples, like just describe your day in your head. I am going to eat. It is raining. I have to study.
Ah, okay. Very basic stuff.
Super basic. But doing that starts building those direct connections in your brain. It's about making English thinking more automatic. That's the foundation for speaking naturally later.
Right. Bypassing the translation step.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, this next one, this might surprise some people. Focus on speaking, not grammar.
This one gets a lot of pushback sometimes.
Yeah, because we're taught grammar is everything. So how does the guide kind of justify this? Won't you just end up speaking incorrectly?
That's the big fear, isn't it? Sounding foolish. But the guide tackles that directly. It's not saying grammar isn't important. It absolutely is.
Okay.
But it stresses that, quote, fluency comes from practice, not perfection.
Practice, not perfection. I like that.
Yeah. It's basically saying, don't wait until you've mastered every single rule to actually start talking. Start now.
So what does that look like?
Use simple sentences, really basic ones. The guide gives examples like, I go to school every day. She is my sister. I like to read books.
Okay, simple.
The point is just to get your speaking muscles working. Build confidence, build momentum. Don't get stuck on theory before you even try.
Right. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good, or even just starting.
Okay.
Moving on. The guide talks about what it calls one of the easiest ways to improve your speaking, the listen and repeat method, imitating native speakers.
Yes, and this isn't just like mindless repetition. It's about really training your ear and your mouth.
How so?
So you find short clips, YouTube, movies, podcasts, whatever. Listen really carefully to a sentence. Pause it, then repeat it exactly.
Exactly. Like, try to sound just like them.
Yeah. Copy the pronunciation, the rhythm, the intonation, the tone, everything. It trains your mouth muscles, helps you internalize how English actually sounds, the music of the language.
Ah, the musicality, okay.
It's like building muscle memory for speaking naturally, and the recommendations is pretty clear. Do this every day, maybe 15, 30 minutes. The guide says your speaking will improve dramatically.
15 minutes a day doesn't sound too bad.
Okay.
So you're listening, you're repeating.
Yeah.
But what if you're totally alone, no one to practice with?
Ah, yes. The guide has a great tip for this. It's practical, maybe a little funny feeling at first. Speak with yourself.
Yes, really. That's what it says. Speak with yourself for people who literally have no one else.
It's all about creating practice opportunities, right? Even when they aren't obvious. And the how-to is simple.
Okay.
Stand in front of a mirror, talk about your day, describe stuff in your room, ask yourself questions and answer them like a mini conversation.
Okay, give me an example.
The guide gives one. What did I do today? I went to the market. I bought vegetables. It was sunny.
Might feel weird at first.
Right, totally. You might feel a bit silly. But the key thing the guide points out is it's a judgment-free zone.
Right. No one's listening.
Exactly. So you can build that fluency, that confidence, without the fear of making mistakes in front of someone, which honestly is a huge barrier for so many people.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that lowers the stakes. Okay, building on that practical side, the next step is about building practical confidence fast.
Hmm.
Learning and using daily use sentences, common phrases.
Right. The stuff you actually say all the time. The guide lists some classics. What's your name? Can you help me? I don't understand.
Where are you from?
Nice to meet you. The
Yeah.
basics. The idea here is if you memorize these and start using them, you can jump into basic conversations much faster. It's like having a starter toolkit.
Yeah, it gives you something to say immediately, boosts that confidence in the moment.
Precisely. You're not stuck trying to build every single sentence from scratch right away.
Okay, so you've got some phrases, which naturally leads to the next step, which feels pretty crucial.
Mm.
Actually practicing speaking with other people.
Yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. But the question always is, who do I practice with?
Right.
And the source gives lots of options. Friends, classmates, family maybe, people who are also learning.
Okay, what else?
Then there are the online tools. Apps like Tandem, HelloTalk, Speaky. They connect you with native speakers or other learners specifically for practice.
Ah, language exchange partners.
Exactly. Or, joining local English clubs if they exist, or finding online groups. The main point the guide makes is that even a little bit helps a lot.
How much are we talking?
Even just 10-15 minutes a day speaking with someone can make a huge difference. It's that consistent, real-time interaction.
Consistency again. Okay, 10-15 minutes daily.
Yeah.
Seems doable. All right, next up is a really clever technique for self-awareness. Using tools you probably already own. Recording yourself speaking.
This one's powerful.
Yeah, it suggests just using your phone. Record yourself reading something out loud or just talking freely for a bit.
And the benefit is that direct feedback loop. It's often hard to really hear yourself accurately while you're speaking.
Right, you're focused on thinking what to say next.
Exactly. So you record, then you listen back. And the guide calls this crucial auditory feedback. Your brain processes your own voice differently when you hear it played back.
What do you listen for?
Pronunciation, fluency, rhythm, maybe even common grammar mistakes you make. You become much more aware of your habits and your errors.
And then you can correct them.
Yeah, it helps you self-correct much more easily. It's like being your own coach, in a way. Helps you improve faster, independently.
That's a great tip. Very practical. Okay, and the final main step really wraps things up with a bigger concept. Make English part of your life. Immersion.
Yeah, total immersion. The basic idea is simple. The more English is around you, the more natural it feels. Less like a foreign thing, more like just part of your environment.
But you don't necessarily need to move to an English-speaking country for this, right?
Not at all. The guide gives loads of practical ways to immerse yourself right where you are.
Like what?
Things like watch movies or YouTube in English. Start with subtitles, maybe, then try without.
Okay.
Change your phone language to English. Your social media settings, too.
Ooh, that's a good one. Forces you to interact with it.
Definitely. Read stuff in English, short stories, news articles, even comics, whatever you enjoy.
Keep it fun.
Yes. And maybe even write a little bit each day, a simple journal entry in English. The main message is, use English every day. For fun stuff, not just formal study. Make it part of your life, not just a subject you learn.
I love that. Shift the mindset from chore to just living with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the main steps. But the guide also includes some really important bonus tips to stay motivated. Because this takes time, right?
Oh, absolutely. Motivation is key for any long-term learning. And these tips are very down to earth. First, be patient.
Crucial.
Speaking well takes time. Don't give up. Second, don't fear mistakes.
Easier said than done sometimes.
It's true. But the guide frames it perfectly. Every mistake is actually a step forward. It's learning.
That's a great mindset shift. What else?
Practice daily. We heard this before, but it's worth repeating, even just 10 minutes. Consistency beats cramming.
Okay.
And finally, a nice little practical one. Keep a small speaking diary. Just jot down maybe what you practiced or a new phrase you use. It helps you see your progress over time.
Yeah, so you can look back and realize, wow, I've actually come a long way. That's motivating.
Exactly.
And the final words in the guide really bring it all home. They say fluent English speaking. Boy. It doesn't require expensive courses or years of study.
Which is so encouraging, isn't it?
Yeah.
What it does require, the guide says, is smart, regular practice and a positive mindset.
Smart practice, positive mindset.
And there's a really hopeful promise attached. If you follow these steps with consistency, you'll be amazed at your progress in just a few weeks.
Wow, just a few weeks to see real progress. That's pretty inspiring.
It suggests the results aren't some far-off dream. They're achievable relatively quickly if you stick with these practical steps.
Okay, so let's recap this deep dive. The big message seems to be English fluency isn't about being perfect from day one.
It's definitely not.
It's not about needing fancy programs either. It really boils down to consistent, smart practice. Using these steps, which are honestly pretty accessible to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Thinking in English, talking even just to yourself, using simple daily phrases, listening and repeating.
Making it part of your life in fun ways.
Right. And it all comes back to that idea we started with. Knowledge is great, but it's the application that counts. These steps are all about applying what you learn immediately to build that real-world confidence.
Focusing on the practical habits that actually move the needle day to day.
Exactly.
Well, the guide leaves us with a very direct, powerful call to action. I think it's the perfect way to wrap up. It just says, so stop waiting, start speaking today.
Couldn't say it better myself. Because really, think about it, your future English-speaking self, they'll definitely thank you for starting now.